Hello, my name is Stephen Moore. I'm Vice President of Sales with Virtual Q. I want to welcome everybody to our webinar, What Every Business Owner Must Know About the Cloud. Looks like we have a pretty good turnout today, so let's get started. What is the cloud? The reason we put together this webinar is because this is one of the most common questions we get asked. Business owners and people responsible for running small businesses are aware that the cloud is a hot topic. They understand that it's probably something important and possibly relevant to their business, but they just don't have a grasp of what it is, and more importantly, as a result, don't know how to assess what the cloud means for their business today or tomorrow. Our goal is at the end of this webinar, you'll have a practical understanding of what the cloud is and how it's relevant to your business. So let's start with a simple definition. Instead of all the computer hardware, software, and data you have been using being located on your desktop or on a local server somewhere in the office, it's located in a secure data center and provided to you as a service by another company over the internet. It's important to understand that the cloud is not something new or exotic or something that you're entirely unfamiliar with. The chances are almost certainly you have used the cloud in the past yourself. So let's take an example. Google. When you do a search in Google, you're not using your local computing resources for all practical purposes. You're not relying on the speed of your desktop or laptop. You're not relying on the storage or performance of your local servers. What you're doing is sending a request to a network of high-performance servers and storage in the cloud in Google data centers. They execute the search and return the results back to you. Similarly, Facebook, Salesforce.com, Twitter, these are all examples of cloud services that you are probably already familiar with. Prior to the cloud nomenclature gaining prominence, the same concept was referred to as utility computing. It's actually a more descriptive term because cloud computing, or the cloud, has a significant amount in common with the utilities. Utilities like electric utilities and water utilities that we're all familiar with. Prior to the cloud nomenclature gaining prominence, the same concept was frequently referred to as utility computing. There's a good reason for that. It's actually a more descriptive term because cloud computing, or the cloud, has a lot in common with utilities. So let's use electrical generation distribution as an analogy. Theoretically, we could all generate our own electricity. In fact, in the 1800s, that's exactly what you had to do. If you had a manufacturing process that required electricity, you had to find some way of generating that and distributing it yourself. In a similar manner, if you need computing resources to run your business, you had to do it yourself. You had to acquire the computers, the servers, the storage, the software. You had to build the network, you had to link it all together, and you had to make it work. In a similar manner, historically, if you needed computing power, you had to do it all yourself. You had to design the network, you had to acquire the hardware, you had to acquire the software, you had to put all the pieces together, you had to make it work, and you had to maintain it and support it yourself. In a similar vein, historically businesses have treated computing like a one-off do-it-yourself project. They've had to decide what they need, both now and for the near future. Had to acquire all the components like hardware, including servers and routers and switches and firewalls, the software, make sure everything was compatible, put everything together, make sure it works, and maintain it going forward. And importantly, you generally have to upgrade it every 2 to 5 years. So if you compare the use of electricity to the use of computing at similar points in their evolution, they have a lot in common. Basically, you're responsible for designing the solution, for buying the components, for building it, for maintaining it, for upgrading it, and all of this required your capital investment. Of course, today we don't worry about generating our own electricity. The utility company takes care of that for us. We connect to the power grid and have access to always available, reliable electricity. We use as much as we need. We pay for it as we go, paying for what we use on a monthly basis. What cloud computing offers is the same flexibility for computing resources. All you need is an internet connection and some end device. The end device could be a laptop, a PC desktop, a tablet, or even a phone. With an internet connection, you have access to always available, reliable computing at whatever level you need with whatever applications your business needs, and you pay for it the same way on a monthly basis based on exactly what you use. Of course, today we don't worry about generating our own electricity. With the advent of the modern utility grid, all we do is connect our home or our business to the utility grid. We use as much electricity as we need. It's reliable. It's ubiquitous access. We pay for what we use on a monthly basis. Along the same lines, cloud computing offers the same flexibility. All you need is an internet connection and some kind of end device. It could be a laptop, a desktop, a tablet, or a phone. With an internet connection, you have access to all the computing power and applications that you need for your business. You pay for exactly what you use, and you pay for it as you go on a monthly basis. What cloud computing does is allow small companies to be able to afford Fortune 500 IT capabilities. It requires no upfront capital. It provides usage-based pricing, which simply means you pay for what you use on a monthly basis. It offers tremendous agility in that you can have the same computing resources that you may have at your office from anywhere there is an internet connection from any device. It offers low, predictable costs. You can know exactly what your IT costs are going to be on a monthly basis, and you can align your IT costs to your revenue. Because of the economies of scale that cloud computing offers, you get a level of reliability, performance, and scalability that a small business simply can't afford on their own. You get the added value of business continuity and disaster recovery, which are tremendously important because if a small business loses their IT assets or loses critical data, they can be out of business in a matter of days. And you get Fortune 500 level security and privacy, which, if you pay attention to the news, is tremendously important these days. It's a complex area that requires significant expertise, and it's not appropriate for a part-time effort. So what criteria should you use in considering whether it makes sense for your business to move your information technology to the cloud? Well, I would argue using the same criteria you would use in considering outsourcing any other activity, whether that's HR or employee benefits, payroll, or facilities management. Number one, it's not a core competency. For most businesses, IT is not a core competency. Number two, it's not central to generating revenue. Number three, it doesn't provide a competitive advantage. For most businesses, IT has to work. As long as it works, there's no competitive advantage in the marketplace offered by your particular IT organization. You do not have access to specialized skills. One of the advantages cloud computing environments have is not only economies of scale, but economies of skill. They can afford to hire people with deep expertise in specific areas like networking or security, because those resources are spread across multiple customers. Average small business obviously can't afford those kind of people to work for them. And finally, you get a better value cost available than if you do it in-house. Again, the advantages of the economies of scale typically allow cloud computing companies to provide better value at a lower cost than what a small business can do providing IT internally. I hope this presentation has been helpful and informative, and that you feel like you have a better understanding of exactly what the cloud is. Virtual Queue has been providing cloud computing to small and mid-sized businesses since before the cloud computing term was even popularized. If you have any questions, like to discuss your unique requirements, please give me a call or send me an email. We'd be happy to discuss your particular business and help you make a decision as to whether it's the right solution for you or not. Appreciate your time and hope you have a good day.